Hey everyone! So yesterday we looked at counter-parenting, co-parenting and parallel parenting, and a version of parallel parenting is your best option moving forward with these types of people. From a court perspective, I'll be honest, not every professional understands parallel parenting. So if you're finding that, one of the best ways to explain it to them is to say that parallel parenting stops the child from being brought into the conflict. That is the child focused way of explaining parallel parenting. And that's kind of the best way to win them over, because you can say at the minute, and you can be hopeful that things will change, but you say at the moment co-parenting isn't possible because it just creates more conflict, which is affecting the children. Parallel parenting allows us both to maintain a parenting relationship, but it keeps the child out of that. So I hope you've got a bit of an understanding of what parallel parenting is, but we're going to look at the three key principles today for you to keep at the forefront of your mind when you're considering how to parallel parent. And in your workbook, I've created some key questions for you just to reflect upon around parallel parenting to empower you. So I don't want you to think of parallel parenting as being a failure in any way. There's lots of healthy families that need parallel parenting when you've just separated, because it's raw. You can't necessarily have that co-parenting relationship with them because maybe one party still loves the other and it's painful for them to try and be all friendly and civil. So parallel parenting, it's a really positive way of parenting. It's not the co-parenting ideal where everyone gets along and you have holidays together and that American cheese ball. It is a realistic way of parenting, so I don't want you to see it as being a failure in any way. It's a very, very positive way of parenting. And whilst you can't stop the counter parenting, what you can do is create a safe bubble for you and the kids, and that's what the principles are about. So the first principle is accountability. You know that they don't take accountability for their actions. It's always someone else's fault. And probably as part of the relationship, you took on a lot of that. And maybe you still are a little bit. This is about you separating out. And I've put in the workbook a pie chart of the parenting and split it down the middle. You are only responsible for 50% of the parenting. Now, that's not based on time. I'm not talking about time or quality. I'm talking about the fact that your child is 50% you, 50% them. And therefore, you are only responsible for 50% of the parenting. What so many parents in these situations struggle with is they're having to be mum and dad. They're having to be both roles. And like I say, that might be dad, if it's dad, if you're a father watching this, you might be trying to be dad and mum, or if you're a mum watching this, you might be trying to be mum and dad. But that's 100%. And even for single parents, you can't be 100% to the child because it exhausts you. So the accountability section is about you knowing you're responsible for your bit. Now, it doesn't have to be 50-50. I'm not literally slicing it down the middle. But what I'm trying to demonstrate through that is you're only responsible for your bit. You're not responsible for how they parent. You're only responsible for your part. So in the workbook, it's about reflecting on what can you let go? What are you able to let go of and just accept that that's the other parent's responsibility. Now, that might not be great parenting as we've looked at, but that's not your responsibility. And this is where you keep in the drama, is you keep trying to take responsibility for someone else's parenting. You can't do that. What you can do is, like I say, that part, whether it be, and I'm going to use 50-50 because it's easier than going through 1,000,001 different numbers. for that 50% that is your responsibility, be damn good with that 50%. Be the best 50%. That's what will protect the children, is you being really accountable within that area and not trying to micromanage everything else outside of that. And that's hard, but these are the principles I just want you to be having in mind all the time when you're considering your parenting. The next one is autonomy. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose, so I apologise that I keep poking. Next one is autonomy. Focus on your own parenting. So like I said, be amazing at the bit that you do. Focus on that and that alone. What the other parent does isn't your responsibility. That is their responsibility. Stop trying to manage that. Focus on your bit. And what you can do is the most protective part, because you can build their self-confidence. You can help them develop independence. You can help them with their critical thinking skills. You can help them to believe in their own self-worth. These are all really key antidotes to abusive parenting. And that's the bit that you do. You can build that solid attachment. You can help them to counterbalance what goes on in the other house. You can't stop it. You can't change it. You can manage it in your bit, in your section. Be the best. So in the workbook, it's about looking at how can I improve? What areas of my parenting do I need to work on? And we've all got them. So don't take that as a criticism. Be positive about that and go, great, this is my bit. I'm going to get really good at it. I'm going to be the best ever. So what can I do? What can I work on? What areas do I need to get? Do I need to improve? Or do I need to look at my own attachment? Do I need to manage my own triggers? Do I need to heal my own trauma? Do I need to maybe put more boundaries in place, which is the third principle. So the third principle is boundaries. You need to start enforcing your boundaries. But the first thing for you to do is really decide on, what do you need to make you feel safe? And I mean, what do you need to make you feel safe? You safe. Not your children's boundaries, you safe. So really, really reflect upon that. What would help? And I want you to think about physical boundaries to start off with. Then think about emotional boundaries. Then think about financial boundaries. Think about all the different ways that you need boundaries. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get all of them, but you can start putting some boundaries in place. And this isn't about, boundaries aren't about you controlling the other party's behaviour. This isn't about you going, I need them to do that. Because again, that's boom, here you go. Here's all the power. I'm relying upon you to make me feel safe. Not going to happen. This is about you. What do you need in place? What can you put in place for you that will make you feel safe? And we'll look at boundaries again. So this is something that you constantly have to keep coming back to. To start off with, when you just left your boundaries might be really close, of like, the only way I feel safe is if all these walls are up around me. And that's normal and that's okay. But you will want to, or you need to, let those walls come out and those boundaries expand. But that's a process, and we should always be reflecting on, are our boundaries relevant for where I am right now? Are they relevant for this person? Are they relevant for this situation? But when you've not been used to boundaries, let's start at the very beginning. So consider that question, what do you need to make you feel safe? And that, like I say, that's about what do you need to do for you to make you feel safe, not what are you expecting from anybody else. Because if you're relying on someone else to make you feel safe, you'll never feel safe, because they're fickle. They'll change their mind. They'll forget. Some of it won't be malicious. Some of it will be, and I'm not just talking about your ex, I'm talking about all people. You've got to rely upon yourself, and boundaries are about you. So what can you put in place for you? Like I say, we will look at that later. But there you go. They're the main principles for you to consider. Use the workbook to help you reflect more on some of those. Please feel free to ask any questions, pop them below the video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.